You been here? You got a lot of laps here, right? No,
Yeah.
never been.
All right, so track mod, quarterfinals advance on. Who do we have next, Austin?
So up next, you'll see a red Corvette, car number 22. That is Jason Harding. Jason running really well yesterday. We also, another familiar name that we talked to maybe like 15, 20 minutes ago, Chad Slagg.
Right.
Chad Slagg obviously out in that white TCS Integra, now out in his Civic SI. Chad is a big Honda guy if you can't figure that out, based on the fact that he brought two Hondas.
Matt coming in, graphics.
So these two drivers out right now, just on their outlap, and it looks like Chad might be leaving Jason Harding a little bit of a gap there.
All right, so a lot of these drivers, like you said,
like-
Slagg
like-
getting some more experience on this track.
Oh, Chad Slagg coming in. Not sure what the deal is.
Defense was like, "Do you have a wristband?" And I was like, "Come on, man." Something's wrong? Said something's wrong. Doesn't think.
Oh no, looks like Slagg giving thumbs down. Gloves are off. This could mean an automatic advancement there for Jason Harding. You could see there, Slagg pulling in, gloves are off, and we saw the universal signal for a bummer, and that's thumbs down.
Yeah, just talking to Chad Slagg here. Feels that something is not quite right with the car, so doesn't want to risk oiling down the track. Obviously, any sort of oil on the track surface would cause a cleanup. So Chad obviously having a lot of experience, knowing his car very well as well, choosing to bring it in, obviously not wanting to cause any damage to the motor, but also not wanting to oil down the track and risk messing up the competition for the rest of the competitors.
All right, so it's a nice, graceful thing to do. Obviously, keep it off the track and not pop your engine.
So you see Jason Harding out there, though, currently running. We're waiting on official word from Abe Schmucker on if we might be able to give Chad Slagg a little bit of leeway so that he might be able to get the car fixed and go out and battle Jason Harding. Jason Harding coming in to the pits right now. So just talking to Motorsports Director Adam Jabay here. Adam Jabay knows a little bit about Chad Slagg's car. That Civic SI, the red one that Chad is taking back to the pits to work on right now, was never a street-driven vehicle. Was sold as a production vehicle, but was built into a race car by King Motorsports as a brand new shell. So that car has never seen any street miles. Has always been a fully caged race car.
Okay, so how it's unfolding here is Chad Slagg, as Austin was talking about, having a mechanical issue, pulls off course. So what's happening here is Slagg pulls off. Harding actually doesn't have to let Slagg and give him ample time to fix his car. But Harding, being the gentleman that he is and being the sportsman, he wants to win properly. He says, you know what? I'm going to go and let him work on his car. Like to see a good competition. So Slagg is able to get hands on his car, check it out, and then hopefully we'll see Harding and Slagg actually do battle.
Yeah, and hopefully Chad doesn't have to replace the transmission in that car like he did last night in his other car. I don't think we can give him an hour and a half. Official word from Abe Schmucker and Adam Jabay. We can give them 2 battle rounds worth of leeway time so that Chad can get that car fixed.
All right, well, so nice gentlemanly thing to do there for Mr. Harding. But Slagg looks like he's got some work cut out for him to see what's going on with the car and see if he can make it back out here for the battle in track mod. So we will move on to our next duo. All right, so again, track mod round 1, the quarterfinals. Just a few battles in. And an absolutely beautiful day out here at M1 Concourse.
And, you know, M1 Concourse is a pretty new track, to be honest, only opening for business just a few years ago. So this the ground that we're actually standing on right now used to be an automotive manufacturing facility. First opened in 1905 and then grew and grew and grew. And then General Motors finally ended up with it, you know, for the past couple decades, ended up cutting it loose in 2008. You can see there's essentially 10 corners here. You're looking at the graphic right now. Interesting corners of note. Corner 1 is a very interesting corner, especially for these drivers in this bracket battle format. Corner 1, start-finish is actually in between 2 and 3, so it's a little past corner 2. But that means that tight corner 1, you still have to really, really be on the power, make sure you don't blow that braking zone to be able to finish your lap right there at the end. So corner 6 is also a really, really tight spot, probably the tightest corner on this track. We saw, you know, a couple of the front-wheel drive cars lifting an inside rear wheel there. We saw some other cars kind of getting a little sideways. Just one of those places that it's the slowest corner matched right after that by the fastest straightaway as well. You also have an interesting area after turn 8. In between turn 8 and turn 9, there's a crest. So there's a crest there. You crest, and then you have to be on the brakes. You know, if you get on the brakes while the car isn't settled, it could be a little interesting. So some of the faster cars, like the Unlimited classes, can create a little bit of drama, which we saw earlier as cars, you know, like Jackie Ding and some others getting pretty sideways there in corner 9.
And then, of course, 10A, 10B, nice big sweeper here. And if you choose your line wrong, you could end up overcooking it and send it on the outside. We saw early on in the day here, one driver going into the cones, got DQ'd out of the competition, but then, but also choosing the right line and being fluid, carrying that speed all the way into turn 1. So it looks like, wow, just a quick fix there for Chad Slagg and Jason Harding. Again, a nice gesture for him, sportsmanship, and saying, you know what, go ahead, fix your car. Want to win this thing properly or lose it.
Yeah, you know, and this is an interesting battle. You know, you have pretty much a brand new C7 Corvette against an old 99 2000 EM1 Civic SI, man.
Is he running, is it B series in there?
I don't know exactly. I believe that car was turboed last year. Don't quite have the notes on it. But I do know that car was actually built up from a brand new showroom car, directly went to the shop back in 99 2000. Wow. Put a cage in and turned into a race car. So Chad's not the original builder of it. He's only the caretaker of it for the past couple years. And Chad just tends to collect Honda race cars. So I don't know how many of them he's sold, but I know he's got probably 7 or 8 of them at home.
Right. All right, so this is the warm-up lap. They're going to be crossing this start-finish here momentarily.
And you can actually see Jason Harding slowing down a little bit here to help Chad Slagg catch up. There we go, and Jason Harding back on the power down into turn 1. So I guess he realized he got a little bit too far away and wanted to be chased a little more closely by Chad Slagg.
All right, here we go. Harding out front and Slagg in that Civic chasing him down. What kind of times are we going to see here, Austin?
You know, I'd be expecting to see probably in the low teens, maybe even the high 109 range.
Wow,
so,
really?
Yeah, 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s is kind of where most of these track mod competitors fell yesterday. So your top-seeded track or lap time from yesterday belongs to Luke McGrew in his Viper ACS, ran a 108.9.
Yeah.
And actually, interesting story about that. Yesterday, Abe Schmucker was telling me that Luke McGrew pulled in and said, I saw my lap timer was a 108. I saw on a lap timer was a 108. And Abe was like, yeah, it was a 108.
Wow.
So we'll see Luke competing a little bit later. But right now, you're looking at Jason finishing up his first flyer lap against Chad Slagg there in the Civic SI.
All right, so Jason Harding crosses the finish line. And times come in with a 111.127 for Jason Harding. And Chad Slagg with a 1:16.846. So Jason Harding does win that battle.
So
That was kind of to be expected.
Yeah. You know, when you see a big horsepower Corvette like that against probably just a lightly modified B series, or it might be, I can't remember if that car is turbocharged.
Yeah,
I think it might be turbocharged actually. But you'll see them swap spots right here as they go down the back straight. Chad will now lead Jason Harding. What's going to be interesting, though, with the speed differential there, I mean, there's a good 5 seconds there. Jason has to make sure that he does not crowd Chad Slagg too much at the start and have to back off by the end, causing Chad to run a faster lap time. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen larger gaps between two drivers and them actually get closer. 5 seconds between them on this first battle. And here comes Slagg. He will be out front. And now Slagg into that first turn. But the clock starts right now. So through that start-finish line, Chad Slagg out front. Jason Harding in that chase position.
Yeah, Chad is a very, very experienced driver, been racing wheel-to-wheel for quite a while. Is actually a national director for a wheel-to-wheel racing series. So obviously always dealing with Hondas. He brought two out and unfortunately was eliminated in the street modified category in that TCS Automotive Integra, but now he's out there in that Civic SI.
Yeah, it's not, to be honest, not looking very promising, unfortunately, for Chad Slagg. So double duty could be over for him in now the second car in this red Civic.
Oh yeah,
Harding
Jason
is
Harding
right
there,
there,
just tailgating him, man, just following him around. God, look how menacing that Corvette looks there, coming up over that crest in turn 9 as they pop back into view here.
All right, a couple more corners here for Harding and Slagg.
Yeah, Chad Slagg having all that wheel-to-wheel race experience, having that pressure of that Corvette right behind him while he drives a Civic does not even faze him. But unfortunately, we'll see. But if I had to guess, I'd say this one may go to Jason Harding, but we'll find out in a short moment.
All right, so Chad Slagg did have a faster lap time on this second lap. And they will be walking in here. So Harding and Slagg.
Yeah, Chad Slagg did run faster than he did that first battle, but was it enough? All right, we've got Chad Slagg and Jason Harding coming in to the pits. Who was victorious between these two? It's kind of the odd couple here. They match red and red. But who was victorious? So Chad, we saw you go out earlier, had a little bit of an issue, but looks like you fixed it pretty quick. What was it?
Sunday tune, a little bit lean, had zero power up top. Said I'm not blowing up and I'm gonna come in and make sure the track stays clean.
So did you swap a different tune on and then run it that session, or what'd you do to fix it?
Just uploaded a new tune real quick and was able to get it to go.
Nice. Well, you were running some real consistent laps. Jason Harding was like right behind you, but I know with all your wheel-to-wheel experience, that didn't even phase you at all.
Sir, not at all.
So unfortunately, it wasn't enough, though. Jason Harding, winner of that battle. Chad, thanks so much for coming out. We'll see you next year.
All right, Jason, Katech here, Corvette. You're looking strong out there. I got to say, first of all, that was really kind of you, sportsmanship, doing that, allowing Slagg to work on his vehicle. Second of all, you're going against Will L. Young in the next bracket. That's going to be a fun one, right?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of downforce in that round. First round was great. Just try to get my tires warm, and then because he's got a lot of power to put down here with that Katech engine. So,
all right, congratulations. See you in the pits, and I'll see you in the next bracket. Again, it's going against Will L. Young in the next bracket. Congratulations, Mr. Haring, and that Katech Corvette. All right, so the party continues here. Track Mod quarterfinals, brought to you by Airlift Performance. This is the SpeedRing, powered by ARP and Vibrant Performance. All this curated by Motovicity Distribution. Thanks for joining us out here. Austin Cabot and myself, Jared Dienda, your tour guides for today's event. Second time ever here at M1 Concourse, so just some awesome driving here. Again, up to $35,000 up for grabs, $10,000 for the fastest lap of the weekend, and then $10,000 for the unlimited winner, $5,000 for track mod and street mod, and yeah, so a lot of cash being given out, a lot of prizes, and just a unique format that debuted last year, and I would say it's just making for just a little bit more suspense and these drivers pressure. You know, asking Will L. Young, I said, do you like it? He says, yeah, you know, you really have to deal with that pressure.
Yeah. You know, for an event like this, you know, I kind of wish I was still driving at times because this amount of money hardly ever gets thrown up. Like, even in some pro racing wheel series, there is not this sort of money that gets put up for winners.
Yep.
You know, I think the most I ever walked away with, and it happened once, was like a $500 check, and it didn't even cover fuel to get to the event.
Right.
So, you know, Motovicity putting up tons and tons of money to all the competitors here. Mackenzie Hinsberger, please head to grid. Mackenzie Hinsberger, please head to grid. We need you for your bracket battles. Again, Mackenzie Hinsberger, please head to grid.
All right, so we are working our way through our track mod. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 more battles left, so looks like we're halfway through our track mod presented by Airlift Performance. Round 1 and the quarterfinals advancing.
Now again, the big story here, the top 8 seeded cars for this track modified category were all within a second of each other.
That's crazy. That's great.
A second.
Yeah.
So, you know, essentially each car was separated by a little more than a blink of an eye, to be honest.
Yep. 1. There you go.
Just 1.
Just 1.
That's it.
So so as we whittle it down to the semis, that is where it's really going to get competitive. You know, right now you saw Harding make quick work of Slagg. Fortunately, Slagg had some issues, but when we start getting into that grade 8, as I like to call it, it's going to get pretty exciting.
So one thing that's really interesting, and as a driver, you know, when you're out there, you're running your laps, but you have no communication back with anybody. Most of these teams do not have communications. Actually, we say teams, but a lot of these guys are bringing these cars out, working on them themselves, you know, campaigning them themselves. You don't know if you won that first battle, the second battle. You have no idea until you come in, and you and I let them know who won.
Right. Yeah. All right, so track mod quarterfinals, we got Kenneth Smith versus Grant Walker. Again, Mackenzie Hinsberger, you are needed to grid immediately. Mackenzie Hinsberger, make your way to grid.
So this will be another interesting battle as well. So you have this high-powered Corvette against a little bit lower-powered Miata. Obviously, it's not a naturally aspirated Miata, but there is a little bit of a speed differential there. So we'll see how Grant Walker does up against that Corvette of Ken Smith. These drivers are on their outlap currently. Coming around, that is corner 8 in the back. That is right at the end of the longest straightaway. In this section that Ken Smith's about to come up to, there is a little bit of a crest. And some of the faster cars, when you're at speed, you come up, the car gets light, and then you immediately have to be on the brakes for corner 9. Corner 9 is where we've seen a lot of action already today as cars try and push that braking zone, carry too much speed in, and get a little loose.
All right, clock is going to start now here. Round 1, track modified. Kenneth Smith, Grant Walker.